ask Raider Homer, because Raider Homer and I were going back and forth while these systems were crashing and things were not going on, and this high-pitched shrill was going on, and my one Bose speaker is literally falling off the desk. So now that it works, but I also know that all of these different things are working against me. I had my intro going on, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and do my intro when I get a chance to. But I want to thank everybody for coming aboard. I see Ed Winchell and Homer are here on YouTube. Homer, we got to work on OBS because the sound, the shrill coming out of the speakers when I was going on OBS was like I was telling you about before. So I can't use OBS until that gets fixed. Over here on Facebook, thanks for everybody being here. I'm not getting everybody over there. Let's see here. I got Chris Lentz, Ed Gonzalez. Oh, Edward Gonzalez. Good to see you there, shipmate. Nathan Gunn, Raider Ricky, Ronald Wayne, TJ, Greg Finelli, and Dean Western. Thank you. Steve Spoltor, Tommy Beard. Hey, what's going on? Armando, Beto Nario, Allison. We've got a lot of people here on Facebook. Johnny and Mike. Sounds like Mouseketeer roll call. Julio, Raider Ken, Monty Hall. Watching on YouTube, but the comment thread, yeah, it disappeared. And Carol CJ, thank you for calling in or watching. Yeah, the feedback was horrible. What I'm going to say is this, and that's why I'm doing it on both, is that as I've been telling you before, when everything gets squared away, it's going to YouTube. When everything gets squared away, it's going to YouTube. And we're getting there. I wanted to do it today. But until we do, I'm opening it up because I want people to know. Please hit me up on YouTube. I have the new, the new flats for everything. And when I get my room done, and that's getting done too, I'm going to get that done. I was so happy because I actually had it where I had my new opening. And I don't know whether you guys were able to hear it, but I'm gonna play it so you can get into the rock or should I wait? Maybe I'll wait. It was bitching. I liked it. So we'll wait on the opening. I had that ready to go. Dave and Javier, thanks for coming in. OBS, take off your desktop audio. Make sure your mic is on and on OBS. Nate, we'll get it. We'll get it. Because I wanted to do it, but like I said, I just put it on, and the shrill coming out of the speakers, I said, is not happening. Not happening. So I said, we're just going to roll regular. It'll get done. We're going to do OBS. When I get OBS where it's working and I have all my graphics good to go, and we're working it, and I got a good crew of shipmates that are helping me out. Nate Gunn, otherwise known as Raider Critique, is helping up, talking about the feedback, trying to leave a comment on YouTube, but it wouldn't work. The keyboard wouldn't even pop up. Yeah, I know. And yeah, and I said I was on YouTube for a second, and it was the wrong camera. And it was because I had to reload or reboot the computer. So I said, screw it. I'm very particular about the cameras. I don't like the camera in my main computer. It's dark. The one that I have now is nice. You know, the, what do you call it? The Logitech's. Very nice. Very nice. Better picture. And you can hear me with the microphones, which is good. So make sure you know where to go. And go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. I definitely want to have people over there because when we get everything squared away with the OBS, we're going to be sitting pretty. So again, thank you for joining me. I got Jaron came in and Sergio and Jason Dean. Good, haven't seen you since Nashville, brother. It is Sunday night, and I am late. Alex Riley, thanks for coming in as well. But I was bound and determined to at least show up to do something. Maybe this is a Sunday night bit session. Maybe instead of talking about sports, we could talk about and I'm free to do it because remember the callers drive the conversation. The callers drive the conversation. I can tell you, other than that, we can have a Sunday night bitch session where we all get together and we bitch about what has been pissing us off for the whole weekend. Johnny Branson, thanks for coming in. Where was on Thursday night? I put on the thing on Thursday. I took a nap after work on Thursday, and I didn't get up until Friday morning. But I put that on Facebook to let everybody know I apologize. And I did a show on Friday, both on Facebook and YouTube, to make up for it, because I wanted to apologize for not being there on Thursday night when I normally is. That's why I was bound and determined to be here tonight, because it's Sunday. I will tell you this, though. In July, I'm going to go on a hiatus. And it's not because I don't want to be here, but I'm going to a couple different Raider events for a couple weekends out of the month. I will be away. And then I'm also going to be up in Washington, D.C. for about a week. In fact, I'm going from one Raider event, getting on a plane and flying over. No, not the explosion. That's in August. I'm talking about July. I'm going to one Raider event, and then I'm getting on a plane, and I got to actually call the airlines to see if I can get something that's close, because Alaska Air does not fly into Dulles, and I need to go to Dulles. So I'm going to try to figure out what I'm doing. I'm definitely going from Washington State here back to Tampa and then up to DC and Dulles. So I might have to go on different airlines. So we'll see what's going on there. But that's just one Raider event. Then I have the training event in DC, and then I'm also I'll let you know in a minute, Johnny, when you can call. PK Subban getting traded sucked. Yeah, it did. I wanted him to go to the Flyers. And you missed the Friday show, Mike, but that's okay. But that's just July. So because I'm doing the podcast, and it's before I even do the podcast, my regular podcast, the Coast to Coast Raider Nation, I figure in July we're just waiting on training camp to open. Honestly, if there's a lot of things going on, that's not a good sign, because it's when the time we're supposed to be making sure that you're not in the news, shall we say. So in July, when the Raiders are hopefully out of the news and nothing is happening, I'm just gonna take the month off, because I want this room to be done, and that'll be done hopefully soon. We're gonna figure out, and knock wood. I don't want to even knock the desk, because I'm afraid I'm gonna knock the computer off. Like I said, I had the Bose speaker. It works, but the little thing that normally would lock, where you put your iPad, or is it the iPad? Not the iPad. What do you call the little music thing that I used the Apple? What you call it? That's where it goes. It's a little old, but it has some good sound to it. Anyway, that won't lock anymore. So that when it fell off the desk, that took a dump. So the speaker still works, which is good, but that other thing is going on. I will open up the phone line, because Johnny Branson wants to talk. So let me do that. Hang on a second, Johnny. This has been it's bitch out Sunday with the captain. I think we can call it that. If you got anything to bitch about, and I know that Jason Dean was talking about PK Subban, that's something to bitch about. If the fact that you had a player going from, and I wanted PK Subban. I was hoping that the Flyers would have gotten him, but they didn't do it. But the line is open. If you want to call in, Do it. 813, let me get out of here so you guys can see the number. 813-699-0834. It's the number. Mern Shepard, thanks for coming in. The iPod, there you go. The little music thingy. What's the validity of the Jalen Ramsey thing? I'm going to tell you that, Matt, and I appreciate you asking that. It's a story. And it's clickbait. It's so much clickbait that I didn't click on it because I got the druthers of what the story was by reading the headlines. Here's the deal. Jalen Ramsey wants a bigger contract in Jacksonville, and he is one of the top. I don't want to say he's top 5. He's definitely a top 10 cornerback. So somebody wrote an article because he wants his contract expanded. I think he's on the last year of his rookie deal, or he just wants more money. He wants more money. And they immediately, in my mind, and this is Matt that asked this, they already say, well, who would go after Jalen Ramsey? Well, a bunch of people would go after Jalen Ramsey if they had the money or if they had the capital to get him. The Raiders have the capital. They got 2 first-round picks next year. Obviously, one of those picks is our regular first-round pick, and then the other one is the second pick that we got for 50 who? From the Chicago Bears. So they're already equating it. I'm not saying that it doesn't have legs, but I'm saying that those legs are prosthetics. I'm not buying it right now, Matt. I'm not buying it. And one of the reasons why is because it's the dead time of the year. It's the dead time of the year, and people got to write about something. So what are they writing about? Let's write about Jalen Ramsey being upset with his contract, and he wants out of Jacksonville, and Jacksonville wants to get the highest price for him, and everybody wants to go to the Raiders. Even when the Raiders were not any place to go to prior to this rebuild, you know how it is. If anybody was out of a contract or was pissed off, hey, the Raiders want him. Well, you got to ask yourself the question, is Jalen Ramsey a Gruden guy? Is Jalen Ramsey a Gruden guy? And the answer is yes or no, depending upon the point of view. Jalen Ramsey is a damn good cornerback. I said he's okay. If you have 32 teams, you have 64 cornerbacks. Yeah, he's definitely a top 10 cornerback. Okay. He's probably top 10%, so he's probably a top 6 quarterback. Maybe. He's definitely top 10. But do you necessarily want to trade one of those picks for Jalen Ramsey? And my answer right now is no. Gary and Conley is gonna break out. This is his 3rd year, but it's really his 2nd because that first year was he was basically didn't play any ball. And I want to see who we got going on. Remember, we picked up Mullen and Johnson, which we're grooming. Big kids who can cover. Big kids who can cover. Jalen Ramsey's a big kid who can cover too. But you're spending a lot of money on him, and you'd be giving up a first rounder. They said even we'd give up both of our first rounders. That's bull. That's bull. So in answer, I know that's long-winded, Matt. I didn't click on it. If you did, fine. But it's June 23rd, and people have to write about things. It's like I'm on the show, and I got to talk about things other than having a very pissy day technically. And Ken said it himself. Conley is already a shutdown corner. It's only going to get better and better. So I hope that answers your question. And even Homer said it, keep the draft capital. I'm ready. We've only been on for 15 minutes. I know it's a little bit late, but I'm going to talk for an hour. We'll talk. We'll talk for at least that. Daryl Hobbs Sr., thank you for coming aboard, sir. Good to see you, sir. Another Raider that I'd love to talk to. When I get some time, I'm definitely going to give you a what do you call it? A ring up. And I know Tommy would be here. Thanks again. Tommy Beard, how you doing, brother? Good to hear from you.
Hey. So this is Bitch Sunday, right?
Bitch Sunday.
All right, I'm gonna piss off a lot of fucking people.
Okay, go ahead.
I wish I would have waited Friday when they're seniors, because I would have did it Friday. And I've been stewing on this shit. This is ridiculous.
Okay.
This All-Star voting is a ridiculously joke.
Yeah.
And New York Yankee fans and people that voted for Aaron Judge, you're an idiot.
I agree. Yes.
A complete idiot. Dude's been out all season, and you're going to put him in the All-Star game.
Uh-huh.
Really? Once again, I've said it all along. NBA, the Major League Baseball, the Pro Bowl. Can't say much about the hockey because I don't really watch the hockey that much. But it's all a joke.
It is.
The fans vote for the players they want. They don't look at the numbers and that they put up.
I agree. You know what? That's a great take, Tommy. And it's true. The kid has not played all year, and you're voting for him to be in the All-Star game when he just came back it was a couple of days ago, right? It was Friday, maybe?
Yeah. He started. I'll give him maybe 30 games on the year. Maybe.
No, I don't.
Maybe.
I don't even think
I don't even know if he played 30 games yet.
I don't think he has. I honestly don't think.
But he's in the top 3. Actually, there's top 9 because they got left, right, and center.
That's right.
But he's in the top 9. Jesus Christ, why don't we just put David Ortiz in there too? And Mo Vaughn. And hell, why don't we bring Barry Bonds and put him in there too while you're at it?
There you go. Let's bring back Ted Williams. I
was getting ready to say Ted Williams, but rest in peace for him.
Yeah, Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, and let me see, Willie Mays.
Jeez, why don't we just put Jackie Robinson too while we're at it?
There you go. Let's bring and let everybody wear 42 that day.
I mean, New York, you proving my point again. You're the dumbest fan base in the world. Completely clueless.
Well, remember, wait a second now. It's not just New York that's doing it, though.
Okay, Yankee fans. You know damn well it's Yankee fans voting for him.
Well, okay, Tommy. No, wait a second now. Wait a second. There are plenty of people that are Aaron Judge fans that aren't necessarily Yankee fans. So having him in there as a top go-getter, yes, most of those people that are voting for him are undoubtedly Yankee fans. I get that. But you can't tell me that 100% of that vote is for people that are Yankee fans. You can't tell me that, because there are people that like Aaron Judge. They like what, from the home run derbies that he had and all those things. And he's a good-looking kid with a lot of charisma, and they want to see Aaron Judge in the All-Star game. And
I'm sorry. You better play and put up numbers. Because you don't see me. I voted this year. And I looked I went through every team, every roster, and their numbers. You know how bad I wanted to vote for Benintendi, but I didn't do it because he didn't have the batting average.
Okay.
But, I did vote.
Wait a second,
the one
Tommy.
position in the American League that is hard to vote for is the shortstop position, because shortstop is loaded.
That's true.
Xavier Bogaerts has got to be in there this year. And it's going to be hard to get him in.
Well, let me ask you a question, Tommy. You know, and I know. And if you haven't figured it out already, then you're missing the boat. They call it a fan vote. They call apparently I can't be heard. So let me get into my microphones a little bit. Hopefully this will not get a lot of feedback. Apologies. I'm going to turn up the let me see if I can turn. I'm hoping I don't get a lot of feedback, folks, because I had some issues with it. There we go. Hopefully if you guys hear feedback, let me know. Is that better? Is that better, Homer? Hopefully it is. It's a fan vote, and it's always been a fan vote. And even Jason Dean said that. There you go. It's better. Thank you there, Homer, for letting me know. It was because I had issue. Go ahead.
It's hard for shortstop because you got Correa for Houston. You've got, of course, you got Bogarts in Boston. It's not even in a top 3 voting.
Right.
But he put up numbers.
By the way, if you want
to move on, I take Jalen Ramsey in a heartbeat.
By the way, if you want to knock out Tommy, he has been on for 5 minutes. Let me move my microphones over so you can get him. Hopefully that'll be better. The number is 813-699-0834. You're talking about Jalen Ramsey. Okay, Tommy. At what cost?
I take him in a heartbeat.
At what cost?
I put him in one corner, and I would put Kylie on the other corner.
Okay, but at what cost, Tommy?
I give up the 1 first round. I wouldn't give them both up. I give up the 1 first round.
Okay.
I give up a 3rd. I don't know. But the problem is, we can't do this and it not be a rental. We've got to make sure he's re-signed.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing, though, Tommy. I don't want Jalen Ramsey at the cost of a 1. I don't even care if it's just 1-1. If he wants to go so bad, and if the team wants to get rid of him, then let other folks get in the running. I don't want to give up that 1. I might give up a 2nd. Remember how everybody had the Raiders giving up a 1, a 2, and it was like the Lawrence Welk trade, a 1 and a 2 and a 3 for Antonio Brown, right? And what was it? A 3 and a 5.
But see, Jacksonville's not going to do that. And I don't see Jacksonville trading him personally. I really don't.
Right. But if he is disgruntled and he's talking about holding out, then they're going to force Jacksonville's hand, which is why if you want Jalen Ramsey, maybe you can get him for a 2nd. And like I said, I wouldn't even offer the 2nd until you let them ask, and say, hey, we'll give you an Antonio Brown trade. We'll give you a 3 and a 5.
I'd take him. He's probably, in my book, he's probably the top corner in the league, behind Patrick Peterson.
Okay, and that's what I was just going to say. I like Pat, even though Patrick Peterson is a little bit long in the teeth. There you go. By the way, it looks like Facebook is dumping on the connection. One of the other reasons why I tell people to come over to YouTube when hopefully it comes back.
I'm kind of interested in this Hard Knocks. I didn't want it, but I'm interested in it. And it's not to see AB or Carr or any of the veterans. You know what you're getting.
Exactly.
You know what you're getting. I am more interested in the rookies. Watching the rookies. Farrell and Mullins and all these other rookies that are coming in. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
see how much Gruden eats the cameras up and enjoys the cameras, because you know he's going to do it.
Of course.
You know Gruden's going to play to the cameras.
I agree.
He is going to play the cameras.
And again, I lost my Facebookers because of the bandwidth. I apologize there, but yeah, I agree. Now I have never seen. Okay, I'd have to go back. I haven't deliberately seen an episode of Hard Knocks in all of the years that it's been on HBO. Okay.
Don't feel bad. I haven't either.
Okay.
I just wasn't interested in it.
No,
I made
a
clip in an episode here on the NFL Network, but purposely watch it.
Right. And but I will watch it this year. Why? Because A, I'm paying for HBO anyway, and B, because it has the Raiders on it. Now, is my watching it going to affect the Raiders any more than Joe Blow Schlabotnik watching the Raiders? No. So if they're gonna have it on, and thanks, Doug. I say it's better. It's a better connection here on YouTube. Thank you, Doug, for verifying that. If they're gonna have it on, I'm gonna watch it because I'm a Raiders fan, and of course I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want it. I didn't want it at all. I did not want it. I had a feeling it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it.
I didn't. Yeah, but like I said, we know it's happening. So if we're gonna have to endure anyway, of course we're gonna watch our team. Of course we're gonna watch our team. So that's why we're gonna watch it. But I go back with you. I would like Jalen Ramsey, but not at the cost that you're talking about, Tommy. Like I said, I would say maybe something else. And I'm going to let you go, shipmate, because I got a caller coming in. Thanks for calling, brother.
All right. No problem.
All right. That was Tommy, and it's always good hearing from him. I got a call from the 832. Who am I speaking to?
Houston Raiders, Steve. How you doing, Cap?
Hey, Steve. Good to hear from you. For some reason, your name did not come up. So apologies.
Oh,
no. I saw the 832 and I said, I hope it's you. But that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I put the numbers down. So hopefully I can get I'll know who's calling. I'm going through some bandwidth issues, which sucks. I was trying to do the dual broadcasting. Are you watching on Facebook or were you watching on YouTube?
Actually, I guess this guy talking to Raider Homer and everything, and he said you were live right now, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Oh, well, great. Well, I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, no problem. Calling from my car. I was just going to tell people this is what I did myself, is that I decided with the way that Colin Cowherd and Florio and all these people, well, I don't even read that garbage because all they want to do is tear down our Raiders, and it's just negative. It's just, like Colin said the other day, something I saw in Mikey Raiders thing, that he's the reason why the Raiders are glad they're on Hard Knocks is they're going to sell. But as you and I both know, Captain, they sell by the shield. They don't depend on Colin Cowherd or Hard Knocks or any of this other stuff. So that's just fluff and filler to try to just get a little bit of a dig and everything. What do you think about that?
I agree. And then Colin Cowherd is a Seahawks fan. He's a hater. So
I know. I knew that. Yeah,
and anything that comes out of his mouth that is even remotely positive towards the Raiders, I think I've heard one thing from him that was positive about the Raiders last year, and I almost had to go into emergency because it did stop the heart because Cowherd hates the Raiders and he goes out of his way to denigrate and piss on and do anything he can to make himself look smarter, which is hard because the guy just really is not that smart anyway. Although I think he's got a little bit more brains than Skip Bayless, but that's about, I'll say about that. But Cowherd will never say anything deliberately good about the Raiders unless there's something that is so obvious that everybody is talking about it. Then he'll glom on and say, hey, I said something good about the Raiders when everybody else was as well. So again, screw Colin Cowherd, screw him.
I know. What do you think about Mike Florio? Would you put him close to that as well?
Well, Florio is about the same. Mike Silver is a very, he's a Raider hater. Florio is as well. When Lombardi was did not have the job that he had, and he had his issues with the Raiders, when Lombardi would be saying would be very anti-Raider. So Florio, Mike Silver, Calturd, and all of the other talking heads from BSPN. That's why I don't watch BSPN. That's why that if it's a byline from Florio, if it's the byline from Mike Silver, I don't read it. Why? Because they get paid by the click, and I'm not going to be giving them the 2 pennies or whatever it is that they get from my click. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do it. It's like I also won't go see a Tom Cruise movie. Why? Because I'm not going to give Tom Cruise and Scientology any of my money. Now, I'll go see their movie, by theater jumping, maybe, but I'm not going to give him any money. You see the difference there. And so if somebody posts to a site that I read and they have the verbatim transcript of Florio or Silver or what Calturd says, then I'll read it. Why? Because somebody else went through the trouble of giving them the click and they cut and pasted it. So I will read it for my edification. So I will just have more background to go and say how screwed up they are.
Exactly. I enjoy listening to when I do have the chance to Dan Patrick or Rich Eisen. I think that they're I don't know, there's just the way they do it and everything. I think they try to really be in part, not biased, and they like to cover all angles. They didn't just like you said, they don't go for the gotcha clickbait stuff that these other clowns go for.
That's right. And Dan Patrick, I wish I could hear him more often, but by the time I get done with my morning drive, he's just coming on at 9:00 in the morning, and then I'm going into work, so I might catch like maybe his opening. And then I got to go to work, and then I can't hear him because I don't have any access to the unclassified systems at work, so I can't listen to him on his show. And then when I get home, I got enough things to do. Where could I tape him and go back and watch him? Sure, but I got other things to do. So if somebody has a take, I'll get it from somebody else to say, hey, did you hear about? And then that's how I get a lot of my information, because somebody will give you the information that you need. Hey, what do you think about this? And then if it's worth exploring that extra measure, then I'll go back. But, I like Rich Eisen. He's definitely not a, what do you call it? A conformist in that respect, So right. I dig him for that. So yeah, good observation there as well.
I just want to first and foremost wanted to thank you for our service to our country and everything, because when I was a young man, a teenager, we were up in Washington D.C. and my dad was in the Navy, and my stepfather flew 178 missions during Vietnam recon and everything, and so he wanted to make sure that we knew that, because when he was growing up, he missed World War II by 5 years. A lot of his friends' older brothers went over, and they were Blue Star families, and unfortunately, God bless them, they became Gold Star families. So, but my parents took us over to Arlington. You see the changing the guard and the eternal Kennedy flame and everything. I tell you what, that's a life-changing experience. So we'll never forget our veterans because of their sacrifices.
Well, I appreciate that there, Ponder. It's one of those things where I thank you for saying it. But it not that it makes me uncomfortable, but it's like, yeah, how you say, well, how are you going to respond? If you don't say anything, you're an asshole. And then if you eat it up, then you're a glory. You understand what I'm saying? I appreciate and I acknowledge it, and thank you for saying it. But my service of 20-something years active in reserve, plus what I do as a contractor, because I'm still doing things for the government as a contractor, it's because I want to do it. And it is a job. So if I get paid to do a job that I want to do until the Raiders pick me up as a personality that does interviews for people, until that time, I'll continue to do the job. And hopefully we'll be on the winning side of taking out some bad guys when I can too.
There you go. That sounds great. I want to thank you for that. What do you think of? I've been, I listen to you and Murph and the Raider Nation podcast, and of course Homer Raider. But it's interesting when you listen to all these different stuff, you get all these great insights that maybe something you found that I didn't know, and about the rookies staying there for a week, and they went down to I think it was like Knott's Berry Farm, and they're this. I like what I'm seeing and everything about, they didn't just hit the road. It's like, okay, now that OTAs are over, we're going to just go our separate ways. They all have the camaraderie, and they're all growing as a unit. And has Jacob signed yet, or is he still unsigned as far as you know?
The last I saw, he's still unsigned. And unless I miss something, and I do hit a couple different Raider sources when I get a chance to each day. But as far as I've seen, Jacobs has not been signed. Now, we were talking about it the other day on the podcast where they were talking about his slating, where as the number 24, he's slated to get between this amount and this amount. And that's what the Raiders obviously will be budgeting. But as far as what is the actual numbers, no, because again, he hasn't signed. Now he can go maybe right up to that top tier. Maybe he can get the same money as the 23. But I mean, if the Raiders are smart, they'll give him like $1 less than the 23, and maybe they'll say, "Hey, we like you so much." But when you're slated for X amount, it actually is better for the teams because they can budget. And they know what they're going to be spending, and that's why they do it the way that they do it. And it's because of the Raiders that the salary cap and the slotting of money has made its way, because we got screwed over by Jabustis, and we figured out that we just can't have one draft pick screw over a team that bad. So they figured out that this is the way that they should do it, and it was because of Jabustis mostly. And a couple other bad picks, but they really saw how bad that Russell pick was and how bad it screwed the Raiders over. That, one of those rules again, and you know it and I know it, there's so many different rules that have their connotations to the Raiders. I know you can name them as well. So just another Raider rule.
I was going to ask you what I found amazing is I was reading about the Stabler situation about the suit against the NFL, and what I didn't realize is they said back when Kenny Stabler was playing, the players made $10,000, and if they were a star, they might make $20,000 or $30,000. Isn't that amazing that was what they were getting paid, considering what they were putting their bodies through as far as the rigor of the NFL schedule and everything? Does that sound like an accurate salary, $20,000 to $30,000 if you were a star back in the early '70s in Kenny's day?
I would say that's about right, but I think it was like a little bit more. I would say that the top performers got maybe up into maybe $100,000, but there was only like O.J. Simpson before he did other things, was maybe making $100,000. That's why the players of that age, they would bank on their appearances. They would bank on their doing commercials and other things like that, because that was extra money for them, which is why, Joe Namath, even back in like 63, or when he got about the 64, 65, when he came out for the Jets, he took that money and he put it into a nightclub in New York. I think it was called Gentleman's 3. It's something about something 3 or Men's 3, something like that, where it was Joe Namath and I think maybe Mickey Mantle, and maybe another sports guy in New York, because they were not making X amount of money from their contracts. They had to make up for it in other ways. So if you were smart, you did your investments, or you had your obviously your advertisements and things like that. That's why, Joe Willie made so much money, being a Playgirl pinup, because that was extra money for Joe. So yeah, now those days are over. And, the guaranteed contracts are what can make athletes, live very comfortably. But when you talk about the athletes of the 60s and the 70s, and maybe up into like the early 80s, in comparison, yeah, they made dick. And, and it's amazing that they can even still do these things. That's why I always try to, get the older guys on as well, because they played for the love of the game, and it was different. Also, remember, they didn't have the big free agency that they had nowadays. So if you weren't on a team, you had to hustle your ass to get picked up by somebody. But remember, that team would usually have your rights for a while. So they had you by the short hairs one way or the other.
Exactly. I think the name of the club, from what I remember from reading, I think it was called Bachelors.
Bachelors 3. There you go. Yeah, Bachelors 3. Yeah, I knew it was something. Yeah, something 3.
It's amazing. We all remember that. Was it the shaving cream ad that he did with Farrah Fawcett? So
that was before Farrah. Farrah wasn't even. She was the model, and it was the Brill cream and the foamy. It was a foamy thing. It's like, oh, look at the foam. I remember it just like yesterday. And actually, Farrah took that, and then she got her part in Logan's Run, and then she got Charlie's Angels. It was like boom, boom, boom. And that's what brought Farrah to fame.
I know what's amazing about that is she was going to the University of Texas, and actually her parents lived over in Champions, which isn't where, within 10 miles of where I grew up. And so it wasn't too uncommon to see her out and about town and everything, along with, of course, the Snake and the people that were in the pastorini and everybody like that. You would go to a place like a country and western place, and you'd see Bum Phillips in there. That was a day when you would run into the athletes when you were just out doing going out on the town yourself. You'd run into them. So that was a special time, with Gillies and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to call and just chat with you for a bit, and God bless, and you have a wonderful night, and go Raiders. I'm so excited about this year, Captain.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, man. You make sure you call in when you can, man. It's great hearing from you. People that, well, again, I know things because I have a decent memory, and I have that long, big plethora of weird knowledge and whatnot. But between you and I, we'll definitely need to make sure that the youngsters of today get their fill of really good stories and things that they need to know about.
No problem. That's what we enjoy doing, is because we've got some great stories. We remember when we looked at our parents and grandparents, and we thought, how are they so smart? Where do they get all this wisdom? It's because of their life experience that we hadn't had yet. So I always enjoy hearing, different perspectives, and it's just so much fun just to be able to chew the fat, as they used to say, just to shoot the breeze, because it's really great, because we'll jog each other's memories and stuff. And it's just like walking into like the Raiders vault when you hear about different players or different personalities, whether they're on TV or whatever. But I enjoy your take about Tom Cruise and everything, because I love going to the movies and stuff and everything else. Like my dad used to say, and I know you can relate to this, I might not know a whole lot about one thing, but I know a little bit about a lot of things.
There you go. And I tell you, with Cruise, and I admit it, I'm a history guy, and I wanted to make sure that I saw Valkyrie because of me being a World War II history buff. But I made sure, and by the way, Cruise did a remarkable role as Klaus von Stauffenberg in that movie. Very, very little to nitpick. It was very well made, and Cruise in that film was great. But again, I'm not giving the Church of Scientology between him between Travolta. I'm not giving them a nickel. But if I want to see something, not that I would attest to it in a court of law, I'll theater hop. Who's going to look for an old man to say that old man is theater hopping? Well, maybe the locals maybe here because I just said that I do it. I won't do it as often. And maybe I'll be off the wanted board over here locally. So we'll get that.
I know one thing that you mentioned about that. One of my best friends, his relatives were from Vienna, and when the Germans took over, you've heard about the gold trains when they loaded up all the jewelry and everything they could from people that had, from the Jewish people that had belongings that they deemed that were worthy of taking, which is such atrocities in itself. And my friend's father and everything, he had the Star of David on his arm and everything, and he and his mother were able to escape through the network and get over here to Houston eventually. But he tells a story about his family that didn't make it over, unfortunately, and God bless him. But he goes to different schools and he says, I've got to tell this story because this is an important part of history that we can't let vanish, because it's if it can happen to one group, if it can happen to one person, it can happen to us all. So it just tears you up when you hear about these stories. But this is real. So I'm sorry I brought that up. It just kind of jogged my memory when you talked about Valkyrie and everything and all that.
No worries, man. No worries at all. Like I said, always enjoy listening to you, shipmate. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's a pleasure and honor to talk to you, Captain, and we'll talk soon, and God bless you, and have a wonderful night.
Bless you, too. You take care, brother. Always good hearing from you, and keep on dialing. Get those people here. Say, hey, you want to listen to the Captain and Houston Steve, correct?
Yes, Houston historian, whatever you want to call me. But yeah, I'll keep telling my friends in Houston and people that I talk to on Facebook. I said, you got to call the Captain. You have to make your presence known and be accounted for as a shipmate.
That's right. Shipmates are always welcome.
I know. We always share with our shipmates. My dad was in the Navy, so actually, to tell you real quick, my dad was stationed with the U.S. Navy down in Havana. As you know, during that time, a lot of the casinos are run by, well, you can guess who it was run by at that time. But anyway, he was in a bar with some of his shipmates, and this man, a Cuban national, walked up to him and he says, you know what? He says, there's a man up in the mountains that's going to come down from the mountains. He's going to overthrow Batista and give the people all these freedoms. 6 months later, that was what Fidel Castro did. And the first thing he tried to do was nationalize healthcare. So history does repeat itself sometimes. I'm not saying this is a correlate, but anyway, but I just found this amazing that my father was stationed there. So he was a little bit part of history in the making, being in Havana.
There you go. And I tell you what, it's always good to know those things. Not that we bring up a bunch of politics here, and I'm not going to go there because that is the rip off Pandora's box. We'll gloss over that, but it's always good to know these facts as well.
Well, I guess the only reason why I brought that up is because as a historian and everything, I'm like you, and I'm always trying to. It's like what I find fascinating is Al Davis himself. What kind of person, what made him tick? I find him to be a really fascinating person. I've always been intrigued by Al and his mind and the way he tried to think through things. As far as what you said about, he liked the speed and the power of the Yankees. He liked, and the Dodgers and different sports teams, and he wanted to have the best team possible. And he was an historian also as well, especially World War II.
Hey, Steve, I got a question for you. Have you seen or have you read this? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're in your car. I apologize. You're not watching. I'm holding up a book. It's Behind the Raiders' Shield. Bruce Kebrick, John Kingdon wrote it about Al Davis. I apologize. I forgot that you were just calling in to call in and wasn't actually watching the broadcast. So
yes, I do have the book. I've been reading it and I find it fascinating.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a great book. And folks, I'm gonna let Steve go. But again, you want to make sure you hang out with Steve and I'll even say correct English. We'll get you all squared away on your history knowledge. Not just on the Raiders. We know stuff.
we've had those life experiences. You have a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you soon. And I always enjoy talking to you, Captain. You're a historian. You're a great man, and my brother in Christ, and a great raider. And we're always proud to wear the shield and stand next to you, Captain.
All right. Thanks again, shipmate. Great hearing from you.
Great hearing from you. Take care. Bye.
All right. That's my boy Houston Steve, the historian. I am a history major. I'm a history major. I will get with the some of the comments. I'll catch things up. Kendall, we were talking about the Jalen Ramsey trade, and Matt Marinovich even asked about it. And here's the thing. If Jalen Ramsey really wants to get out of Jacksonville, remember Jacksonville will have to make it happen because he is under contract. Okay, he wants more money. Is he a Gruden guy? Maybe. I mean, he's a hardworking guy, and he's a top 10 corner. And if you go 10%, he would be a top. Yeah, he would make the top 10% of the corners in the NFL as well. But at what cost? And what are you going to give up? And is it going to happen? So, in my estimation, while he's still under the rights of Jacksonville, I ain't giving up a bunch of money for him. I ain't giving up a bunch of picks for him. Yeah. He'd be a great corner opposite of Conley. Would it be something that the Raiders would do a la picking up Mike Haynes in his prime? It's possible. But remember, I got to see what the price is. And right now, I'd say, hey, I'll make an Antonio Brown trade with you. Not that I'm trading Antonio Brown. I'll give you a 3 and a 5. See if they go for it. They probably won't. So I think that he stays with Jacksonville until such a time that he can really, put the screws to him. Doc Cabral, thanks for coming aboard as well. There's you guys know about Doc Reggie. Doc Reggie calls the show. This is the other Doc Cabral. Doc Cabral is a Patriots fan. I don't say that for him to be stoned and drawn and quartered, but he's a Patriots fan that actually is a decent Patriots fan. So hats off to Doc Cabral, a Navy corpsman as well. Like I said, with Doc Burdett, another Navy corpsman. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, we were talking about people Matt Marinovich even popped in. Jim Otto got a lot of his wealth from his franchises with Burger King. It's a way to use his money. So you had to, and especially with all of the hurt and all of the pain that Jim Otto went through. My goodness. Oh, pardon me. But if you're coming in late, it's Bitch Sunday, because I was bitching about how technically, and I'm not dumb on technicals. I'm not dumb. I'm just not very well versed on a bunch of different things. But we're going to get that. We're going to get OBS working. And when we get OBS working, we're going to just run and run. And as soon as I can figure out how to put OBS on where I don't get the feedback, and I did get the information from Nate Gunn, so we'll get that done. Trade a first for Ramsey and a second for Cap. If we hit on the 3 first rounders and 2 first rounders next year, we are going to be in cap hell. I get that, Doug, and that's why I said, if you do things right, though, let's work on having that as a problem. I mean, I think we will hit on the 3 firsts we had this year. I think we will. I want us to be in where we have to figure out how to do it. I want that problem. I do. I want that problem. I mean, already Chicago is having a problem figuring out how they're going to keep 50 who. I heard Clowney is not signed with the Raiders trade form. It's not that he hasn't signed. He hasn't showed up for mandatory minicamp. He is under contract. Or at least I know that he was tendered. So he's out there. He's out there. But he's not in camp as a, because he doesn't want to be. And do you really would you really want to pay all that money for Clowney? Because I think we have the beginnings of a strong defensive line between Cleveland Farrell, PJ Hall, Mo Hurst, and then the other players, just those three right there. And then Mad Max Crosby, Arden Key. There's 5. And then you got Benson Mayawa and was it Morrow? Good. I was a hardcore utility player. Does Eddie Vanderdoes come back? We'll see. And then I believe we re-signed. I believe we re-signed Hankins. So yeah, he's available. So I that's a lot of money, and I like what we have so far. What are the Raiders willing to trade to fill holes? No pun intended. Oh, Doc. What are they willing to trade to fill holes? I think that they're going to do it via the picks that they have, Doc. And I said we have two ones next year, and I think by next year, the people that are going to want to play for the Raiders, knowing that they're going to Nevada in 2020, where that contract will be state tax free. You go to Nevada, state taxes free, make that much extra money in your pocket for a team that's playing in a brand new stadium. And by 2020 will be fantastic. Why not? Do it through free agency. And people are free agents for a reason. Maybe they're asking for too much money from their team, or they price themselves out. Maybe they're not the greatest teammates. I'm not saying that all free agents are like this, but I'm just saying people are free agents for a reason. So let's see what we got. And I think that we'll do that draft, 2 ones next year. And maybe one of those ones, maybe trade down and pick up like 2 twos for him. I'd have to see if we have all 7 rounds of the picks. I'm sorry, I don't know honestly if we do, but it can change. And remember that we're going to be getting some compensatory picks as well. So as we're looking right now, and sight unseen, figure that's 8 picks, 2 ones, and the rest of the 7 rounds. So that's 8 picks. Plus comp picks, we should be okay. And then who we get in free agency, and no people that want to be here. So we're doing good. My question to you, Doc, is this Tom Brady's last year? Is this Bill Belichick's last year? I've been saying it for years and years and years. And I'm like, man, these guys got to retire sometime. Well, Gronk finally did. So I think maybe this might be, in fact, Tom Brady's last year. Do you believe and Mayock and Gruden already something? I believe that they're probably the best 10 that we've had in a while. And just on cue. Doc, how you doing, brother? Let's talk, brother. Turn your computer down, man, so you don't have that extra echo in the background.
Okay, it's off.
Okay, cool. What you got for me?
How are you, by the way?
I'm good. How are you doing? This was a Sunday bitch session because I couldn't figure out how to do all the technical things that I wanted, and I still didn't get a chance to do it. My Bose speaker is broken as far as and so that's done. It fell off the table when I was trying to do other things. It's been a bad Sunday, and and I couldn't find the. I was looking for my VA letter that state, and I won't say how much my disability number is, but I found my old one, which is 10% less of what it really is. And tomorrow I'm going to hopefully make sure that the folks down here that do the taxes for the house will make sure that they're giving me full credit for my disability. So you know how it is. Bad day already.
I will tell you this. If they win number 7, they will both retire.
Okay. But
if they win number 7, they will both retire.
Okay.
If they don't get number 7, somebody's going to take the lead. Either one. I don't know which one, but one or the other will probably take a lead.
Okay, so you're saying that if they win the Lombardi again, they're both gone. But if they don't win the Lombardi, then at least one of them will say, you know what, I've had enough. I'm out of here.
Because they've already beat everybody else they get the most Lombardi for one coach and one quarterback.
That's true.
So Steelers say they got 6. Sure, they got 6. But how many quarterbacks and how many coaches?
I'm sorry, what was that, Doc?
My friends that are Steeler fans keep telling me, oh, no, the Steelers got a 6 Super Bowl. Yes, they do, with 3 coaches and how many quarterbacks? Right?
With, let me see, 2 quarterbacks.
Bradshaw
is 4, and Ben Rapist Pervert has 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it was 3 coaches, though. But, one with,
they have 4. Yeah, Tomlin.
4 with,
4 with Chuck Noll. 1 with Tomlin and one with Cowher. Yeah.
So they have 3 coaches.
Right.
But nobody in the league has 1 and 1 with 6.
Right.
So they pretty much written it off. If they want to walk away tomorrow, they did a great thing because the Steelers go, oh, well, we got how many we got? Yeah, you could deal with how many coaches? Not one quarterback. So they can walk away now and say, you know what? We've already beat the competition. It's all over. So let's go.
I got you.
But the reality for me is, honestly, is that if they win number 7, they're both going to walk away. I guarantee it. The reason why I say that is because Bill Belichick still has a little bit of himself that, you know what, it's time to move on. I got to do something different. He's that kind of a guy. He's a football guy, but he's got to move on eventually. And Tom Brady, he don't need it. He doesn't need no more money. He got a beautiful wife, 3 or 4 beautiful kids. He can live in any country of the world that he wants to. Why? There's nothing else to prove.
Do you really dig Gisele Bündchen's looks though?
Say again?
I mean, okay, I know she's the supermodel, but
she's a Portuguese girl like me. I'm a Portuguese boy.
I got you, but I mean, I don't think she's all that in a biscuit. I mean, she's decent looking, but I've seen better heads on beer. And you know and you know I don't drink a lot. So that's saying a lot for me. To me she looks scary, like she's very thin, and she has the very gaunt, cheekbones and stuff. I'm like, ugh, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to bitch. She makes more money than Tom, and she's not unpleasant looking. And again, I know I'm the fat guy. Got it, guys. I'm not ragging on her to say, well, who are you to say that? I'm fluffy. I get that. Okay. I know all these people are going to say that, but I never found her as attractive. Now the other one, what was the other girl that was from the Victoria's Secrets girl, Adriana Luna, I think was her name. Now that she's smoking hot, man. She's smoking hot. Oh,
yeah, the other thing was, I know that you're a Philly and a Chicago fan because you're actually from Chicago, but you claim Philly,
right.
or is it the other way around?
Well, I was born in Chicago, but I'm a Philly dude.
Yeah, I remember something about Chicago. I remember more about Chicago than Philly, but I knew you were a Philly fan.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
My question for you is this: how did you feel about the NBA draft with the Philly?
Doc, I'm gonna be very honest. That was Thursday night, right?
Check.
I
You didn't watch it.
I slept through it. I slept.
Oh, really?
It. Yeah. I was supposed to have a show on Thursday, and I took a nap when I got home from work. I took a nap, and I remember peering up because I have one of those clocks that it's like one of those LED clocks that has like the where it shines the time onto the ceiling. And I remember I went to bed for a nap like around 5:30. I'm like, yeah, I'll just take a nap for my 9 o'clock show. And I remember opening up my eyes, and it was either like 7:45 or close to 8. And I said, oh, okay, I got a little bit more time. I went back to bed. I didn't wake up until 07 the next morning, man. And
damn, you okay?
I was just tired. And it's like, oops, I missed my show. Because Mike Sarah was bitching. It's like, what were you doing on Thursday? I said, I'm sorry, man. I slept through it. And I apologize, but I was just tired.
Sometimes we got to do what we got to do, Jay.
That's right. So, I mean, I know that Zion Williamson was in fact the number 1 pick by the Pelicans, and other than that, I can read about it in the because the reason why it doesn't really matter is because free agency is going to dictate how these teams are going to perform. Where is all the other pieces going to go? Where is KD going to go? Is he going to stay or is he going to go somewhere else? Where is Kyrie going to go? Are these other people that might be on the trade blocks? Is Klay Thompson going to go? So all of these other people will make the off season that much more enjoyable because then you say, look at who they drafted. Look at who they picked up in free agency. Look who they already had on the books. And that will be the environment next year will be so much different than it is right now. So there you go.
So an FYI, just for you and me, the other callers, we're in Arizona for a little longer, but we maybe head back to either Virginia or Florida in about a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay. Well, I won't say nothing.
Yeah.
But
we might be heading down south. I got friends down in Naples area, and not far from you either. So.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely have to get together, and we'll always have to enjoy your Portuguese-ness, as you might say. Doug Fisher says that Gisele Bündchen, she's all that on an apple buttered peppered bacon biscuit. I disagree, Doug. I'm not gonna say anything about Gisele coming on to me. I wouldn't say no, but I would say, hey, do you got Adriana Luna's number by any chance? Because I'd rather hang out with her.
She's gonna pump it on beach to meet all Brazilians.
There you go.
Take care, man. Love you, brother.
Hey, love you. All right, there. Great hearing from you, Doc.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. That's Dr. Brawl. Like I said, a Patriots fan that is worthy of of a good dude, and so that's why I enjoy having again a brother, Navy corpsman. Like I said, great guy to have around. But we've been on for an hour 10. It's wow, it's 11:30. It's 11:30. So unless there's something else going on, I'll hang out for a little bit. Maybe we'll get another number. Yeah, it is all good, Doug. Like I said, I'd Adriana Luna, man. That is, the dark Dark awesomeness. And Dave Bridges thinks I'm butt ugly. I'm gonna hide that one, Dave. We'll see how much of a troll Dave Bridges is, but that's okay. He's allowed to think what he says, as long as Dave, if I'm so ugly, why don't you talk to me about something that's on your mind? Talk to me about sports. This is Sunday bitch session. I had a bad Sunday. So why don't you call me up and talk to me about what's going on with you in sports? And but I did accept that you called me butt ugly. I'm not the what do you call it? I'm not a gift from the gods. So such is life. It's 11:31. No other phone calls. Homer's still there and all good from Doug Fisher. Is that it? Anybody else? Bueller? No. That's okay. I will do this. I already had my outro. I'm gonna say my I chopped that up. I have a decent outro, but y'all have heard it. Let's call it a night. And we'll do a show on Thursday. I hopefully won't sleep through it again. And again, if you're on Facebook, and again, it's the bandwidth. If for some reason, YouTube, no problems. We'll work on the sound issue. Good night to Raider Homer. Good night to Doc and Doug Fisher, Mike Sarah, anybody else is still around here. Kendall Hansen, I hope I answered your question. And again, great hearing from Houston Steve. Matt Marinovich, always a pleasure to have you in the house with your insight as well. And we did hear from Tommy tonight, and Tommy got a chance to talk about the schmucks that are voting for Aaron Judge for the All-Star game. I agree. I agree 100%. If you're deserving of the All-Star game, get a vote. Kid hasn't played this year. So get real. Other than that, I'm not even getting outro music. Y'all take care. We'll see you Thursday here on this channel. And we'll see you for Ask Captain Jack. Make sure you're checking out the Raider Invasion podcast, where it's myself, Raider Homer, Raider Critique, and Raider Voice, and maybe even some other folks hanging out talking Raider issues. It's a good show. I know I'm not trying to, be pat myself on the back, but I tell you, when you have all of those opinions from all those different peoples, Raider Invasion Podcast for Life by Raider Homer, check it out. It is here on YouTube. Go to Raider Homer's page and check it out. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a good week in the interim, and take care of yourselves.